personally, I look at it and I think, wow, pornography is everywhere now in the digital age.
They're free and it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And so to me, it seems like we are in the age where it's ripe for an addiction. And I'm not saying pathologically, but I can easily see how someone could become addicted to it because it's everywhere. And so I just want to talk a little bit about pathology versus just maybe I have a problem with pornography. So let's dig deeper into that, because you are clearly very passionate in saying this should be a DSM diagnosis. This should be something I could clinically diagnose someone with and have the resources to help treat it.
Well, we thought sexual addiction was a joke forever, and now we have an international diagnosis. The World Health Organization in September 2018 said compulsive sexual behavior is an international problem. It may have something to do with lowering birth rates and a lot of intimacy and relationship problems, sexual problems. This is just a subcategory of that. We're headed toward that. And I want to say also that if drug addictions and substance abuse were the addictions of the 20th century, and we can put the opioid addiction kind of in the 20th century, gambling, gaming, porn, spending, all the online behaviors that these young folks are starting out with at 10, those are the addictions of the 21st.
And Dr. Weiss, I don't think that any of us are arguing here that porn use, excessive porn use, is an issue that we need to talk about. But when you reference compulsive sexual behavior disorder in the ICD-11, it actually doesn't fit under the category of addiction disorders. It fits under compulsive behaviors. So it also, again, depends on how you're conceptualizing the problem. Is this an addiction, or is it something that's more on the compulsive side, something that's more akin to anxiety-related things? And one other thing I wanted to point out, too, is that not only are we a little bit concerned about over-diagnosing and over-pathologizing, which is sort of my point here, there's also the issue that sometimes people use it to escape criminal responsibility. Like if they get in trouble because of actually a paraphilia, like let's say pedophilia, they end up saying, no, it's because I have a sex addiction, they escape prison time and they do something else instead. And in relationships, when people use it and say, that's why I cheated on you 20 times, when maybe there's something else going on that's not related to a sex addiction.
I will acknowledge that concerns me. But back to whether or not it's a true addiction or not, if someone is addicted to alcohol and they get in an accident, you can't say, well, I'm addicted to alcohol, that's why I got in an accident, and get out of the potential criminal charges. But I confess I agree with Judy on this one, because I do think we live in a society where once anyone is caught doing anything bad, they just say, I can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, honey, I have a porn addiction, or I have a gambling addiction, or I have a shopping addiction. And so the 21st century is also a century of excuses. So how do you tease out if someone has a real problem? Because I don't think anyone is going to disagree that there are individuals who have a real problem. Semantics aside, there are a lot of people, especially young people, who have a problem.
I mean, it comes down to the question, can you control your porn, or is the porn controlling you? Like it's so part of your life that you can't stop it.
Well, and the impact that it's having on your life, right? And I know that Dr. Weiss has worked with a lot of people where, you know, they'll say, my relationships have been damaged, I'm not going to work, you know? And that's the kind of thing where we say, yes, this is a clinical issue to address, but where is that clinical issue coming from? Is it underlying depression and anxiety? Is it some other kind of untreated problem? And we need to get to the root of those problems and treat those before people run around taking these online quizzes saying, yes, I'm a sex addict.
I got to say, I strongly disagree with that, because I've been working with addiction for 25 years, and every addict has an underlying issue. They all have trauma, they all have depression, they all have anxiety, they all have social and relationship issues. That is what it is to be an addict. But you still have to address the behavior first, because you can't just address trauma or depression, or that's fine, but the person will still do the behavior.
But Dr. Weiss, in the ICD-11, the compulsive sexual behavior disorder has exclusionary criteria. And one of them is to exclude things like paraphilias, like pedophilia, like frauderism, like exhibitionism. And so I know what you're saying, but this is what I mean. When somebody's actual underlying issue is really what trumps the issue, and that symptom is the sex addiction or the porn addiction, we need to make sure that we get to the root of the problem as a basis, instead of them running around saying, I'm a porn addict and that's why I do all of the things that I do.
And it seems to me, and I completely agree with both of you here, if that is something I can say, because your concern is so valid to me. You know, you don't want people running around doing bad things and saying, I can't help it, I can't help it.